They can get through 5,000 people a year. Hi, how are you? Where are you? What do you do? When are you available? Where are you working now? What part of the country are you in? Soul destroying. So they could get through 5,000. So our agent we set up got through 4,500 people on a Saturday afternoon. Had 650 conversations and booked 66 jobs. They called us and said, can you stop the AI? We had a big call, get them on the call. We said, what happened? What's going on? What's wrong? We've got too many leads. So you get into these like weird situations where there's a second order issue, but be careful what you wish for. Because that at some point is going to hit humans that need to do something, and then how many do you need? So it's quite interesting how that works. And that costs 160 quid of agent time. It'd be 2.5, 3, 4 grand for humans, especially on a Saturday. And I think what is important to the people in this room, all of you, is customer experience. So we work with a lot of wealth managers, and I don't know what it's the same when you work in mortgage broking, but in wealth managers, how many of you are actually wealth managers as well? And they say to me, they say, what, you want to grow your business? Like, oh, last thing I want to do, Piers, is grow our business. There's so much admin. And I'm like, what? It's the only sector I've ever come across, I've ever heard that. So there are things that people are developing platforms now. How do you reduce the admin? How do you personalize experience and knowing what you know about these people and their ambitions and their lives and their finances and their family? So customer experience is the experience for one. You might have a database of like 10,000 people, and you might have 5 segments of 2,000. That's pretty good. Now you can have 10,000 people in your database and 10,000 segments of one. That's hyper-personalization, using what you know about them from your database, your meetings. You've recorded all your phone calls. You've got agents talking to them, updating them. They know it's an AI, but it's a service you're offering. You take all of that and you analyze it and you talk to them, market to them, engage with them in a way that's specifically designed for them, not another 5,000 people like them. That's the key. So customer experience is huge for you. And what you can do is surprise and delight people in ways that never happened before. Personalization works, especially in what you do. And this is the key to it. In any business, in any sector, the frustration we all live and breathe is you grow your revenue, you win an award, you get a lion badge. And what happens? Your flipping cost base just goes with it. Because you're hiring people. There's an industry standard margin. Forget it. What you want to do is grow your revenue, even if it's slightly, makes a big difference, because it will go straight to the bottom line if you can detach your cost base. It's not going to be everybody in the business, not everything you do, but you can start to detach your cost base from your revenue growth. What do you get? More margin, more profit, a more valuable business if your ambition is to sell it. And that's the Holy Grail. That's what it's really about. Not about how funky is it, how cool is it, what's some super clever thing I can do with AI. It's not going to add a huge amount of value. Just deal with the basics, where AI works and where it creates an ROI, and implement it and learn. And don't try and boil the ocean. Just start small. Case studies. So clinics. We have lots of clinics. We've got lots of people on their database. They reactivate them. So it calls up people. It says, look, you're on a call. You talked about having, there's actually one example actually. It was actually a guy playing golf. He wanted to get his teeth done because he's going on holiday in Marbella. And he was a 15 grand dental job. And he got distracted because he's playing golf with his mates. Got lost. This looks at all the phone calls, analyzes them, finds that. It knows what the price list is. In your case, it could be, tell me a bit about yourself. So if you go on our website, it'll do a BANT qualification on you. In terms of the budget, authority, all the usual stuff. It'll ask about you, your business. It could be who you are, what you want, tell us what you want. And immediately, you'll send a follow-up saying, look, thank you for calling. Here's a summary of the conversation. That's what we know. Here's some information about us and our business and what we do and our products. And one of our teams is going to call you back. It's actually booked the meeting. The AA there that said, I'll get our booking specialist to call you. They can book the meeting in any calendar you choose. Pharmacies, we've got one that looks at 30 million prescriptions. This is data again, that data thing, the infrared. 30 million prescriptions, government pays if you want a blood pressure test. They look at 83 different conditions. One is contraception. If you want contraceptives, you can get a blood pressure test for free. And normally people go back to their GP. So the pharmacy wants to go back to the pharmacy and get a blood pressure test. They get 18 quid. It's a £400 million business. Probably costs them 75 grand a year to run that agent. And it's a £4 million revenue opportunity. Just from data analysis. Couldn't do it any other way. I've talked about the staffing one, security again, that's one where more business where he's got these dogs roaming around, checking things that humans can't do at night, all night long. Makes a huge difference. Analysing calls. So the key is record everything. Think about where you're touching prospects and customers, where you're keeping the data about them. How do you, number one, enrich it? And how do you add value to it? And how do you then use that in a way to improve experience? And your ability to actually just convert them, let's face it, it's sales. This is what we're talking about, you know, as you build a business, you've got all these different departments. So the beauty of it is, a lot of your businesses are, so how many have you got businesses above 100 people working in it? More than 50? More than 20? More than 10? Below 10? It's the majority, right? So the thing here is, take me for example, right? I'm quite good at sales, right? I know marketing because I've kind of absorbed it by seeing people who work for me doing marketing, but I'm not a marketeer. But now with AI, I can become a pretty adept marketeer because AI can expand my capabilities. I just say, look, that's what I want to do. I understand it enough to be dangerous, but what you can now is expand your capabilities and your team's capabilities. So you want your team now not to have a job, you want your team to now do work. What they know, what they're good at, but what's adjacent to it, because AI can augment them and become the best copywriter in the world for your particular sector, for your particular region of the country actually as well. So think about that. Don't think about adding people for no reason. Try and augment the people you've got. And this is the key to it really, is a lot of people in AI, they sort of say, we want to have an AI project. There's no such thing. You know, we've got a tech team. They're starting an AI transformation project. Forget it. This project will never have an end. This is not something where you're going to install AI, look at it, go, good job, and come back 3 years later and do it again. This is going to be an ongoing process of you implementing it, finding new use cases where you can use it, taking that 2x2 matrix, bottom left box, things appear in the top right box. Oh, that's clever, but it's not really reliable yet. They suddenly appear in the bottom left box. The text got better, there's an ROI, you deploy that. You're getting better, the tech's getting better, it can do more, and you're deploying more of it forever. It will never end. That's why the third industrial revolution, the internet, telecommunications, was the last industrial revolution. There won't be a gap in another one.